What's up, guys? In this video, I thought I would do another video about depression, how to get over your depression flow chart. I really like these flow charts. I find them to be very helpful for visualizing solutions to complex problems. And I think this is a problem that is actually very simple to solve. But because depression and mental illness and all this, all these buzzwords have all of this kind of like negative connotation, not really negative connotation, but it's this very like ethereal thing like, oh, I have a mental illness, there's no cure, there's no solution, I'm just fucked for life. That is kind of the problem with this, with actually finding help. And also another problem, and we'll get into this later, but another problem is that most people don't actually want help for their problem, right? And this is true for any problem, right? I forget what philosopher it was, but he said we don't something like, we're not attached to the thing we desire, we're attached to the desire itself, right? So like we love our problems. It's kind of weird to think that that's actually the case, but when I look at somebody who says, oh, I'm depressed, I have this mental illness, I have an eating disorder, I have whatever problem that they actually have, it's like, bro, you realize the solution is actually super simple, you're just not doing it. Okay, so that's the simplified version. The extra simplified version is this handy dandy little flow chart right here. So number one, are you depressed? No? Okay, good for you. Yes, you are depressed. Okay, did you work out today? Did you work out today? Not do you work out regularly, not do you work out sometimes, not have you ever worked out in your life. Did you work out today? Okay, so like for example, you wake up in the morning, let's say you wake up on the wrong side of the bed, you get hit with a piece of bad news and you're feeling depressed, right? You have that like feeling where somebody's like actually pushing on you and you don't want to get out of bed and you just like, you're just not in the mood for it today, right? Go to the gym, go work out, go do a video class, an exercise class on YouTube. Go check out Maeve McCaffrey, my favorite yoga teacher on YouTube. Quick little shout out to Maeve, link in the description. She's an awesome yoga teacher and she's so fun to do yoga classes with. Okay, pitch over. Or just go join a gym. Planet Fitness, $10 a month. You can go there, you can afford it, 30 cents a day. All right, when you work out, you release endorphins in your body, you feel better, you're active, you're doing stuff. You get out of your house, you get out of your dirty apartment, you get away from the people in the house, or maybe you go with the people in your house to the gym. Everybody gets a little bit of a rush and you're just gonna feel much better and it's gonna get you that much closer to not being depressed. Okay, so no, you didn't work out, go work out. All right, do you eat meat and eggs daily? Now this, I wanted to kind of, I have limited space here on this screen to make a flow chart. And I wanted to put something in here about nutrition, and I was thinking, what's the best way to do it? Well, I could say, oh, did you eat healthy food, right? But the problem is that most people don't actually know what healthy food is. They're like, oh, did I eat a salad? Did I eat like fat-free string cheese? Is that healthy food? No, healthy food is, and I've said this a million times, eating most of the calories that you eat from high calorie dense foods, specifically meat and eggs, or I guess chicken and chicken eggs. Like, did you eat chicken today? That's an even better one. Did you eat chicken or chicken byproducts today? But that's a little bit weird. I just like to say meat and eggs because it's a little bit easier. You can eat fish, you can eat fucking liver, you can eat pork, you can eat chicken, you can eat beef, eggs. I don't know, whatever kind of eggs you want to eat, you can eat those. They're very good for you. And the reason that meat and eggs are kind of like the king of foods, in my opinion, is because they accomplish several things. The most important thing that they accomplish is they pretty much eliminate any desire to binge on unhealthy food. Because when you stuff yourself on meat and eggs, your stomach is literally so full of meat and eggs, and you're so satiated that you don't actually want to go and snack, right? Many times in my life, I've tried the low calorie dense foods. Like I've tried the whole like Greg Doucette, let me eat a big salad, let me eat a lot of veggies and like a little bit of meat. But the problem with that, and I'm sure many of you can like confirm this, is that when you eat a large volume of food, you are technically full, but you just still feel kind of hungry. You're like, all right, I just ate a gigantic salad. I'm actually stuffed. My stomach is, hurting. It's so stuffed. But I still want to eat something else. I'm still kind of hungry, I still want to taste something. You're just kind of craving something else. Whereas if you eat an entire fucking chicken from, I don't know, Costco, yeah, you might still want to have something sweet afterwards. But you're not going to eat the same volume of cookies and chocolate and cake as you would if you had started out eating the cookies, chocolate, and cake. Or if you had started out eating the low calorie dense food, the salad and the fucking fat-free, sugar-free pancake syrup or whatever the fuck people eat these days. Just eat the meat and eggs every day. All right. Trust me on this one. Okay. So next one. Do you drink alcohol, smoke cigarettes, or do drugs? And when I say do drugs, I'm talking about like recreational narcotics, I guess. Because though, what goes up must come down. And the problem with drugs is that you are going to experience a hangover when you do drugs. The same thing with cigarettes. Cigarettes are really bad for your health. Smoking all that tobacco fucks up your lungs, fucks up your mood. It's just like, if you're a girl, it makes you have like irregular periods. It's just terrible. It's awful stuff. Also, ladies out there, do whatever you want, my body, my choice, but like, don't take birth control. That shit is fucked up. Like, that does all kinds of bad stuff to your body. Do not do it. It is bad. Big pharma, like, you just trust that, like, you take this little pill to like permablast on estrogen and you think, oh, there's no, the doctor said it's okay. Oh, and it's birth control, right? It's just like, it's this thing that's just socially accepted to take birth control, and it's just called birth control. They don't call it what it actually is, fucking estrogen. Like, you just take estrogen pills. That's not good. Like, you have enough estrogen in your body. Go buy a fucking condom and use a condom. It's much easier. You know what I mean? I don't know, and it's better for your health. Like, you want to be depressed, or do you want to use a fucking condom when you have sex? Like, it's not that hard. Alcohol is an obvious one. Like, don't drink a lot of alcohol. I guess maybe a little bit of alcohol is okay, right? I mean, technically, theoretically, you should never drink alcohol. It's bad for you. It's actually just bad for you. That said, the benefits of having a little bit of alcohol every day, I guess, maybe a beer or a glass of wine. I don't know. For me, I don't like it. If I have one beer at night and then I go to work the next day, I can feel that I've had the beer and I feel like shit. There might be some benefit to having some red wine, but I also feel like shit when I drink red wine. Occasional binge drinking, I think, is okay as long as you do it with friends as a way to like improve or solidify your friendships or to bond with people. I think that's okay, because I think overall that could be considered a net gain. Because having close friendships with other people is going to help you improve your depression, or get over it completely, right? Like, try being depressed when you have a lot of friends who you like and who like you. It's not really that common. Okay, so stop drinking alcohol, smoking cigarettes, and doing drugs. Okay, don't do it. I mean, we've all gone through the drug phase. Like, it's fun, it's cool, you feel like a bad boy, but like, if you're depressed and you don't know why, try cutting those things out and you'll just feel better. Okay, the next one. This is very important. Are you broke or unemployed? Okay, now, like, I'm not saying money will make you happy. Money will solve all your problems. Money will cure your depression. But like, if you're broke and depressed, it's way, way worse. It makes all your problems worse. If you're broke, it's going to make all your problems worse, really, is what it is, right? If you're depressed, you're kind of making your problems worse in your head, I guess, is the best way to put it. But if you're broke and you're depressed, all your problems are going to get 10 times worse, right? If you have a $500 problem and you're broke, it might as well be like a $5,000 problem or a $50,000 problem. What's a $50,000 problem? I don't know. You need to get like spinal surgery or something. That's really bad. What's a $500 problem is like, you got to take your dog to the vet or something like that. Whatever. Anyway, the point is this: if you're broke, if you're unemployed, if you're not looking for a job, if you're not actively trying to make money every single day, you are going to be depressed. You are 100% going to be depressed. If you're broke and you're not trying to make any money and you don't have some sort of like spiritually fulfilling goal in life, like, you're not like a yoga teacher in a commune, in Ubud somewhere, like living your dream, doing art and teaching yoga, and you're just happy with being broke because you're doing what you love, you're not going to be happy. If you live in a city and you're broke, or you're living paycheck to paycheck, or you have some shit job, or you're living off your parents, or you're living off, the fucking government, and you're broke and you're not doing what you want to do, you're just a lifeless consumer, you're going to feel like shit and you're going to be depressed. So what's the solution to that? The solution to that is to try. Okay. Now, the best way to try is to find somebody who will give you a clear path and explain exactly what they did to make money. And then you do that, assuming you don't want to get a job. Like, let's say you want to be a little bit more independent. But at the end of the day, being broke comes down to making money comes down to one of two things. You are either selling a service to another person. Somebody is paying you for your time for you to do something for them. Could be freelancing, could be a job, or you were selling them a product, right? You take this, you buy this for $1 and you sell it to this guy for $10, right? That's making money. So all you have to do is spend several hours a day, and anybody can make money. Anybody can make money. If you're broke and you don't have any money, it's because you are not trying to make money. You are not trying to make money. And if you're not trying to make money, then like what do you want out of life? You're just going to sit there and not try. You've got like all these other excuses like, "Oh, I can't try because of this. I can't try because of that." Like, motherfucker, why don't you try? Like, how much time did you spend today trying to get somebody to pay you for a product or to pay you for a service? If the answer is zero, like, what do you expect? What do you actually expect? How can you be like, because what's the problem when you're broke? And I experienced this last year when I was, I think this was when was this? When I was in Minnesota. I was so broke. I had no money that I actually had to go back to work. And me going back to work meant that I could not exercise, and the lack of exercise made my health get worse, right? So it's kind of like a roundabout way of, this one problem turning into other problems. But, you don't have to be a random traveling like broke vagabond to figure this out. Like, you have problems in your house, you have problems with the people in your life that can be solved with money, and a lot of problems can be solved with money. Most problems can actually be solved with money. That's not something that a lot of people like to talk about, but most problems can be solved with money. You need friends? Okay, you can spend some money, you can get some friends. You want to improve your health? Hire a fucking personal trainer, join a gym. Those things all cost money. Everything costs money. You need money in life. You got to fucking try and make some money. Okay? Go try and make some money. Next one, do you have friends? No. You don't have friends? Go try and make some friends. Here are some tips on how to make some friends. And as I'm saying this, I realize that like, what's the problem with depressed people is that they're too depressed to try, is really what it is. That's the actual problem, is that they're too like, and what does that really mean? That means that they prefer their depression to the physical exertion of trying something to improve their lives, right? It's a very physical thing. And I say physical because a lot of people say, oh, it's a mental illness, you're depressed, your mind is preventing you from doing things. But no, like physically, like let's pretend you're depressed, and let's pretend that I could take control of your body, like with a little machine or something like that, like a little joystick, or I could possess your body momentarily. And I could make you do all these things. I could make you work and help you make a business that would make you more money. I could like physically move your body to the gym and, work your muscles and give you a good workout. I could make you go to the store and buy meat. If I could actually make you do all of these things, are you telling me that you would be exactly as depressed as if you were lying in bed all day watching fucking, I don't know, Netflix or porn or something and smoking weed and doing nothing? Of course not. You'd feel much better if you actually got up and you did these things. But the problem is that people are too depressed to actually try. Anyway, back to the friends thing. If you don't have any friends, you got to get out there and try and make some friends, right? Like, and they don't have to be real life friends. I mean, preferably they would be real life friends that you can see in real life and talk to, because there's something very, visceral about having an actual like live human in your immediate proximity who is nice to you and friendly to you, and you smile at them and they smile at you and you crack jokes and you laugh, and it's like, this magical moment that we all have in life, right? But if you can't do that, make some friends. Make some friends online. Go on Facebook, go on Instagram, go join some sort of group or something, and just try and make friends through some sort of common interest, right? At least do that. Don't just be a consumer. But the next one, do you spend multiple hours per day mindlessly browsing social media or porn or watching TV or video games? I had to add to these later because I wanted to include everything in here. But the point is that if you are, what's the problem with all of these activities is that they are all passive, and they are all, none of them really will provide any sort of lasting value for you, except arguably video games, which is the most physical activity of the group and will kind of train your, it'll at least exercise your brain in some way. A lot of these video games. I'm not talking about Candy Crush, although I guess you could even say that Candy Crush is like, at least there's some sort of pattern recognition involved in there. But like most, first person shooters or MOBAs or something like that, those games will at least like train you to hand-eye coordination, something which is like arguably useful in some areas in real life. But the problem with this is that once, these are all very addictive behaviors, and once they get out of hand, once you do them for several hours a day and neglect Like once you do these for several hours a day instead of doing something productive, like one of these things, right? Like if you worked out, if you already ate your healthy food, and if you already spent several hours a day working and actively trying to make some money, go ahead, play your video games, go browse your social media, fucking watch TV, go jerk off, like whatever the fuck you want to do, go ahead. You already did yours for the day, right? At this point, you've arguably like done enough productive stuff for the day to provide for yourself and whoever you live with, that it's okay. You can do these, arguably negative behaviors. But if you haven't done that, it's kind of like the healthy food thing, right? It's kind of like, okay, you don't only have to eat meat and eggs, but like if you've already eaten all your meat and eggs for the day, you've already stuffed yourself, go ahead, you can have some dessert. If you've already worked out, for your hour or 30 minutes or whatever it is, you can go ahead and lie around in bed for the rest of the day because you've already worked out. You've already trained your body. Obviously, it's not ideal. Obviously, you should try and maintain a high average of like quality over all of these things, but at least get that like basic part out of the way. What depression really comes down to is that people are actively neglecting important parts of their life. That's really what it is. You're depressed, guess what? Because you're not paying attention to parts of your life that demand attention. You're not paying attention to your health, you're not paying attention to your personal relationships, you're not paying attention to your fucking bank account. So like get out there and actively pay attention to these things. It's not easy to look at, but like think about it like this. You have a bunch of cavities in your teeth. Are you not going to go to the dentist because you have a bunch of cavities and you're afraid to face that? Well, guess what's going to happen? All your teeth are going to fall out, and then you have an even bigger problem than a couple hours of pain or a couple of weeks of pain from going to the dentist. So what do you think is worse, right? And using the same analogy, you could go buy some fucking toothpaste and eat healthy food, and then you wouldn't even have to go to the dentist in the first place. Very passionate about this. All right, so next one. So you're not doing those things. Are you stressed about money? This is kind of related to the broken unemployed thing, but you could be, because I thought about this, I was like, all right, maybe you have a job and it's just a shit job. But did I write the same thing twice here? Anyway, whatever. Maybe you have a shit job and it's like paying the bills, but it's just not enough, I guess. So you're stressed about money, right? Like let's say you have income that provides you with a couple $1,000s a month, and that like just barely takes care of your expenses. Like you can eat, you can buy food, you can pay your rent. You've got like, you can pay for all these little things, but oh my God, that $500 expense comes up and you're like, oh shit, I don't have money for this $500 expense. What are you going to do? Are you just not going to take care of that? And then let's say that $500 problem that you have, which could be easily solved in a second with a little bit of money, let's say not taking care of that has like really bad consequences, really bad, right? Like let's say you need dental work done and you have $500, like you have something that needs to be done for $500. Otherwise you're going to lose all your fucking front teeth, right? Easily solved, $500. But what's the negative downside? Like what's the downside to not having any of your front teeth? That's really bad. That's like huge implications to your mental state. And also, your like how people perceive you, right? Think about the stigma that's attached to somebody that doesn't have any fucking teeth. That's really bad. You could be a genius, you could be a doctor, you could be super accomplished, but if you don't have these 4 front teeth, you got a big problem. You're like automatically in the bottom rung of society. So what's the solution is get out there and try and make some fucking money, Like why are you not? And then this one, are you actively trying to make money? Yes, no, like you guys get the idea, right? Get out there and try, spend a couple hours a day. And I'm not saying research, okay? There's a rule in pickup where it says for every 1 hour of research that you do, you got to spend 9 hours in the field testing it or trying it. You want to research a strategy for making money? How about this? Here's an idea for you. Why don't you go to the store, buy some tuna, buy some bread, make some fucking sandwiches, and go and try and sell those sandwiches on the street. $5, whatever, You can make a couple $100 a day doing that. Are you going to do it? You should, You want to live, I don't know, whatever. Anyway, next one. So this is how to get over your depression flowchart. Now, in addition to that, I also made some common objections, right? Because I know that people watching this, if you've actually watched this entire way, all the way through, you probably agree with everything I say. Otherwise, you would have turned it off a long time ago. But just in case you're still here, you're like listening to this as you lie in bed and cry, I made some common objections anyway. All right, so number 1, depression is more complicated than that. Your solutions are too simple to work. And my response, try them for a month and get back to me, okay? They are simple because this is actually not a complex problem, right? If you take 2 identical people, let's say they're both depressed. They have the same life, same problems, same everything. One of them has, goes to the gym regularly, eats meat and eggs all the time, has like enough income to be, not, I don't want to say comfortable, but like has enough income to like pay their basic expenses and also not stress about paying their rent and like, oh my God, what if this thing happens? Two identical people like that, the one who has the better situation for those categories is going to be less depressed and is going to be able to get over any sort of inevitable, whatever pitfall in life much faster, right? Much faster. And again, are you doing these things, right? How can you say it doesn't work if you're not doing it? I can tell you, and millions of people can tell you as a fact, that these things actually do work. They actually do. Two identical people, one is broke, one has money. Who's going to be less depressed? Obviously the one with money. Two identical people, one eats fucking garbage, trash, shit food, and the other one eats meat and eggs all the time. Who's going to be happier? Who's going to have less depression? Obviously the healthier one. Same thing. One person works out, the other one doesn't. Same, identical, everything other than that. Which one is going to feel better? Obviously the one who works out. How can you even argue that? Next one. I don't want to try these things. It's too much work and it probably won't work anyway. All right. So what's the problem with this? This is like what I talked about earlier, where people who are depressed, they don't even want to try. That's their problem, is that they can't actually like bring themselves to relinquish their comforts and actually try and actually do anything about it. Don't get me wrong. It's not easy to, say no to 99.9% of the food in the grocery store and only buy the same 10, 15 things every single time you go and eat those same things every single day. That's not easy. Sometimes, people are people, right? I see the cookies. I want to get the cookies. I see the ice cream. I see the fucking, I don't even know, like all kinds of good stuff in the grocery store, and I want to buy it. I want to eat it. All healthy people do. But you have to make that decision that you're not going to do it, right? Same thing with working. It's not like I have a sales job. When I go to work, I try and stop maybe 500 people a day. And on a good day, a really good day, like an amazing day, I'll make maybe 9 or 10 sales. That's like, wow. That's like, oh my God, like I crushed it that day. That's really good. It doesn't, out of 500, and let's say maybe on that day, maybe, I don't actually know how many people I try to stop per day, but let's say 500, that is, what is that? 10 out of 500 would be 0.5%. That means for every 100 people who I talk to, I get rejected by 98 of them. 98 of them tell me to fuck off in one way or another. Man, and not even worse than that, or actually worse than that. It would be better if they just told me to fuck off right away. But sometimes they don't tell me to fuck off right away. Sometimes, they'll talk to me for a little bit and they won't sit. Sometimes they'll talk to me for a little bit and they'll sit and then they won't buy. Sometimes they'll talk to me for a little bit and like it'll seem like they're gonna buy, and like I put all this energy into them and then they don't buy. Right? So out of those 100 people that I try to talk to, only 2 say yes. And that's like an amazing day, right? Normally it's a lot less than that. So that's not easy. But what's easier, or what's even harder than that, is it's living in some fucking shithole with no money. That's way harder than that. And not trying to do anything and being fucking depressed and hating my life. I would much prefer being given the opportunity to actually try and make something happen. It's way better. Just try it. Next one. You don't understand mental illness because you don't have one. Whatever. I've never been depressed in my life. I've always had a magical, wonderful, happy, healthy life. Everything is great for me. I'm actually the fucking king of England and related to the Saudi royal family, and I've never been depressed because my life's amazing and I get everything I want. Right? It's just that simple. The fact is that I have also gone through periods where I've hated my life and I felt stuck and I didn't have the power to get out of bed. And honestly, these were also times where I was eating lots of healthy food and I was working out, and I was probably broke at the time, but like, I had those two things covered at least. And to be honest with you, one of the biggest things in my life that I've noticed that has kind of determined whether or not I feel just really good about life or if I feel like shit about life is how easily money comes to me, right? In periods of my life, because like, whatever, I'm fairly respectable adult despite my Christian Audige hoodie. I may or may not have like helped people buy certain illegal substances from time to time, which is very easy money. And during those periods, like you just pull out random $100 bills out of your pocket. You don't even remember how they got there, and you have money for everything. You don't have to worry. and you feel just really good about life in general. It's just like this kind of basic confidence where people just call you and they're like, "Hey, what's up? Can you meet and I'll give you money and you give me like a little bag of something." And you're like, "Okay, sure, no problem." And then boom, just made $200. It's easy, right? Now, obviously, the modern day version of that is to actually sell a legit service that won't get you thrown in jail if you get caught by the authorities, which takes a little bit more work and more credibility, and it's not as easy as like just answering your phone and having some guy come to your house. But that's kind of the equivalent. And during periods where I've made like lots of money, you just feel better about life in general. You just do. So that's a huge part of it. So just, I would say focus on that, right? Okay, so the next one. I'm broke, but I don't believe that money will make me happy. There are lots of depressed people who have lots of money. How do you explain that? What did I write here? That's true, but if you have, okay, so yeah, same thing. You have two identical people, one's broke, one's not. The one that has money is going to have a better quality of life and more likely to overcome their depression faster and more efficiently. Plus, I promise you, the depression that Elon Musk experiences, or like, forget about Elon Musk. Let's say some guy who's making six figures. The depression that he feels is completely different. I promise you, you would trade places with him in a second if you are living some shit life, you know, with no money and you're fat and out of shape. Like, I would trade the depression for like a ripped, fit, rich guy for the depression of a broke, fat loser with no friends who lives in his basement or a studio apartment with his, I don't know, pet fucking guinea pig or something. I would trade that in a second, in a millisecond, and I promise you every single one of you would too. So like, just try. All of these excuses, all of these like objections are really honestly just excuses to not try. So just fucking get out there and start fucking trying. Next one, eating healthy food and exercise have nothing to do with depression. It's a mental illness. All right. Okay. So first of all, exercise has been scientifically proven to improve mood and relieve depression, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Now I get this a lot because I made a lot of these videos like talking about these famous eating disorder girls who basically are famous because they're like, "Oh my God, I ate 10 cupcakes today. I'm such a victim," which is a complete joke. Right. And I get a lot of, because I made reactions to these videos and I called it like I saw. I was like, this is fucking bullshit. Just go to the store, buy some chicken, come home, cook it and eat it and shut the fuck up. Make videos with something else. It's that simple. And I get all these comments from these mostly girls who are like, "You don't understand mental illness. You're a bad person. I hate you so much. You know, I hope nobody in your family has a mental illness because you won't be able to help them." And it's like, when you say it like that, like, what is a mental illness? Is there a solution for mental illness? No, because where is your mental? You know what I mean? Is it your brain? Okay, what part of the brain? What exact part of the brain has the problem? Oh, it's this part that has this chemical? Okay, so do something to increase that chemical. Oh, no, but it's not that simple. You understand? Like, once you get more and more specific with what the actual problem is, the solution becomes obvious, right? Whereas if you're very vague and general with the problem, like, "Oh, I have a mental illness has no physical solution," well, okay, you just fucked yourself because now you're totally hamstringed and you're never going to be able to get over it, right? So anyway, I get all these like girls like commenting on my videos like, "You're a bad person," whatever. And what I say to them every single time, I'm like, "Oh my God, do you realize you have an eating disorder?" What does that mean? Well, let's identify that really quick. You have an eating disorder. It means you choose to eat at times and with frequency that is less than ideal for your body, and you choose the wrong foods, right? You don't eat enough or you eat too much. And when you eat the wrong foods. So what's the solution? Is to eat more or eat less, depending on who you are and what, you know, disorder you have, and to eat the right foods, right? It's very simply, I'm going to give you the solution right now. Eat once a day, eat mostly meat and eggs. I don't care who you are. You're fat, you're skinny, you're anorexic, you're 100 years old, you're 10 years old, whatever. That's the solution right there. Done. Over, right? Same thing with this. You're depressed. Okay, what does that mean? You are doing the wrong activities too frequently, and you're doing the right activities too infrequently. So the solution, do the right activities more, more and do the wrong activities less. Next one. I can't do those things in the flow chart because I have life circumstances that prevent me from doing them. I can't go to the gym because I have a job and I work 15 million hours a day and I just can't. I can't eat healthy food because my mommy buys cupcakes and, you know, she doesn't buy the food that I want, and it's not fair. Okay, well, guess what? Find a fucking solution. I can't actually work because I got to take care of my fucking sick grandma. Okay, that's fine. well, I guess you're just going to be broke then, and you're going to have to deal with those consequences, and that's going to make you sad, right? You have to understand, here's the point, right? The whole reason I made this video is because your depression is easily solved by taking care of the areas in your life that you are neglecting. Being depressed means you are neglecting certain areas of your life. Bottom line, that's it. It's not, and any sort of like symptoms of depression, like feeling sad, not having energy, not being motivated to do anything, is because you are neglecting those areas of your life. You are saying to yourself, essentially, the juice is not worth the squeeze, right? Oh, because what's the thought process? Like, let's say you have a really good job and you're making tons of money. Money's not your problem. And let's say you're even in like really good shape, but you have no friends, you have no spare time, and you just can't like do shit, right? Because you're just lonely because you work all the time. And the time you don't work, you go to the gym and you work out. And then between work and the gym, you are exhausted and you don't have any fucking friends at all. Let's just say that's your problem. You're going to be depressed because you don't have any friends. And you're like, oh yeah, like I have this great life in these areas, but I'm just not motivated to do it anymore because it's not making me happy, because I'm missing something. And that something is what I need right now because I have all these other areas of my life covered except for this one. So you just have to find out what that area is and just fucking start working on it. It's not that hard, right? If you can sum up in one sentence, if you can't summarize in one sentence what your problem is, then you don't actually know what your problem is, straight up, right? This is why when I talk to people on the phone, I'm like, look, tell me in one sentence what it is. Just one sentence. And they're like, well, it's this thing and I have because this one time and then before. It's like, no, one sentence. What is the problem? Okay, that's the problem. Here's a solution. It's obvious. Because the issue is that people don't actually want to find a problem to their solution. They don't want it. They actually don't. They're like, no, I just want to like, because if I found a solution to the problem, I wouldn't have anybody to talk to. What are we going to talk about? Well, hopefully better things. So anyway, bottom line is this: you have issues in your life that are preventing you from doing certain things that you know need to actually get done. You just need to do it. It's like, what's the solution for not being motivated to go to the gym? You just go to the fucking gym. What's the solution to your eating disorder where you eat garbage? You don't eat the garbage and you eat fucking chicken. You know what I mean? That's it. That's really what it comes down to. If you say to yourself, no, but I can't do that because, just do it, because what? Would you rather be depressed and have no money, or have, no personal relationships, or be fat and die by the time you're 50 years old? Or would you rather solve all those problems in a congruent way? All right, last one. And this is the worst one. This is the most sinister one. And this is one that I've struggled with quite a bit. And a lot of people that I know also struggle with this. And this is the one where the person knows what they need to be doing, but they're not doing it. Okay, and we all have areas like this in our life, and this is one that is going to cause you the most pain. And hopefully this is the one, pain is not necessarily bad because it'll actually push you to do what you know you need to be doing. And here it is. I know I need to eat healthy, exercise, work, make money to get rid of my depression, but it's just so hard for me to actually do those things. I procrastinate. When I finally sit down to do them, I get distracted. We've all been there. For me personally, I find that 300 milligrams of Wellbutrin or bupropion every day is extremely helpful for getting me to do those things. Makes me 50 times more productive. If you can't find Wellbutrin, or you're against taking it for some reason, or you're already taking it, then what you need to do is you need to find something that is more painful more painful than you not doing it, right? I wrote here the gun to the head method, or the baseball bat method. And those are basically like, okay, let's say you don't want to go to the gym. If I had a gun and pointed at your head and said, go to the gym right now and work out, or I'm going to kill you and your whole family, you'd probably go, right? If you thought I was serious. Baseball bat method, same thing. Go to the gym right now, or I'm going to fucking beat you to death with a baseball bat. Or I'm going to beat the shit out. I'm going to break your leg, break your fucking kneecaps with a baseball bat. You would go. Another one that's a little bit more mild and more realistic is that, let's say you have something that you want. Let's working out again, simple one. You give somebody $200 in $20 bills, and you say, okay, I'm going to stay at the gym for an hour. If I don't go and actually work out, for the entire week, you keep the money, right? It's another one. You have to kind of incentivize yourself to actually do those things. So those work, they actually work. And you can argue like, well, it's not intrinsic motivation. It doesn't come from within. So it's not real. It's not going to last. Okay, it might not be real and it might not last if you do it once. But if you do it every single day for an hour or 2 hours, over time you are going to build that habit and you're not going to need that extrinsic motivation anymore. All right, thought I'd make this video. I was just inspired. What can I say? Let me know what you think about that. If you have any comments, let me know. Leave me a comment. Peace.